Oh Lordy, thank God for Golden, the perfect return to form for our Kylie. The Golden era is now officially over following the last concert date at a winery in Queensland. Winery's a brand new era for Kylie in itself. I've never seen Kylie so emotional at the end of a show, not even at Homecoming number 1 where I was at. She has truly loved the Golden era, and guess what? So the hell have her fans. To watch our Kylie relaxed, happy, at her very best. And wow, those Golden shows were so amazing, despite the lack of the big, huge staging that we've become a little bit accustomed to. This really has been a treat for fans. 5 singles, people. Count them, 5 singles. Or 6 in Australia, if you count Sincerely Yours, which I'm a little bit sus on, by the way. We'll talk about that later. And hey, Kylie, is it too soon? Listen in, Kylie, if you are indeed listening to this. It's time, my dear girl, for the massive disco album that you've never actually made yet. The authentic 70s stomper. No, don't tell me that Light Years was a disco. No, Kylie, listen. I want that authentic 70s stomper, all original, produced with that rich vinyl sound. It's time, Kylie. It's time. But I am getting ahead of myself. We are here to retro review Golden, the album tonight. I'm joined by my Canadian friend, Kylie fan Aiden. G'day, Aiden.
Hello.
I bet you're excited by the Canadian chart positions because they really weren't too bad at all. But tragedy, you were finally booked in, a huge overseas trip planned to see Kylie live for the first time in your life. Tell us what happened next.
They say things come in threes, and they really did that week. But long story short, I got to Dublin and day of the concert, and she had to postpone because she was ill.
Tragedy.
And
sore throat or something. Yeah.
I came out of the airport and then got to my hotel, and a couple hours later she arrived. And I remember it was mentioned in the chat as well that she didn't look well, and she looked like she was a little bit under the weather when she was coming out of the airport. So
yeah, the fans spotted it before she even announced it. But hang on, she rescheduled those shows. Didn't you get to go to the rescheduled shows?
I didn't. I was really ill. And I was gonna go. The trip was planned, and I had to cancel it. I cancelled in the end.
Oh, that's a really sad
and I mean,
story.
I was really ill at the time.
First time Kylie podcaster Christian from Malaysia. Welcome, Christian.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited to talk about this album.
It's so exciting to have you here. Hey, by the way, Christian, slightly unrelated note. Bumblebee Man from The Simpsons, I don't know if you're a Simpsons fan, he has a great line in one of the early episodes. He reads the news for Kent Brockman, this crazy character, and all of a sudden he has beautiful diction, and he pronounces Kuala Lumpur just like that. How do you actually say it?
For me, I just say it Kuala Lumpur.
That's it, because that's where you are, right?
Yeah, I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur.
Beautiful. In Australia, we tend to call it Kuala Lumpur. It's not right, but somehow it works. There you go. Welcome. It's great to have you on board, Christian.
Very happy to talk about this album.
Yay. Let's talk about all things Golden. Tell me, who was just a tad worried when they discovered that this was going to be a country album? Cast your mind back before you heard the product. Who was a tad worried? Country? Kylie? What?
The first full project I've heard of Kylie's was actually Kiss Me Once. And it didn't leave me with a great impression of Kylie's body of work.
It's not the best
I
entry
love the
point.
title track. Yeah,
Not
I
at
love
all.
the title track. I still love the title track. It's still one of my top favorite Kylie Minogue songs. But actually, the first time I discovered that the album and the whole theme of this era was going to be a bit more country was the first time I saw the dancing poster with her outfit.
Yes.
That gave it away. Yeah.
So you weren't
it didn't
worried
really
because
bother
you
me.
weren't a
Yeah.
huge long-term fan. So that's interesting.
No.
That's a good
Yeah.
good perspective.
Yeah.
You were a kiss me once
I am
entry
now.
point. You
I
are
am
now.
now.
Oh yes, no, and we accept you, and we do not judge you for coming so late to the party. Not at all.
Yeah.
Aidan, what about you?
At first, when the first kind of news reports started coming out that she had been to Nashville.
Oh, wasn't it scary? I was terrified. Not Nashville.
And then the speculation that it was going to be a country album, I was like, I'm like, what has she done? Like, my mind was going all over the place.
Because I knew she liked Dolly Parton, so I thought she's just trying, and plus don't forget, it's easy now for people to go, oh, what were you worried about? But we didn't hear it was going to be a country-influenced album. We were told Kylie is releasing a country album.
No, and the more I go back to it, because I go back to it weekly and listen through, if not the whole. I've been giving it regular listens all the way through, probably at least once a month still, and shuffling the other tracks all the time. And the more I listen to it, I'm like, you know what, this isn't. It's definitely got elements of country in it, but I'm like, it's a pop album, and it's got the perfect pieces that make it. But what make pop is you can mix in other things as well. So she really made it work for her in the end, and really we didn't have anything to worry about all along.
It's still a Kylie album. It still has the DNA. It still has the heartbreak on the dance floor, which I like to call Kylie's music. And I think it's a fun album. It's a very personal album, and it was very cathartic for me. It was simultaneously released in a time where I went through a lot of heartbreak. So I found this album very healing.
Wow, you
very
personally
enlightening.
found it healing for yourself. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
very,
great.
very, very healing. And listening to the project today before coming on here, it brought back a lot of memories, and Kylie's literally been through this journey with me, and I cannot be thankful for this project.
It's so fantastic to hear that it resonated with you on a personal level, because the reason that I'm proud of that as a Kylie fan is because this was the first time since Impossible Princess that she's
written every track.
Yeah, every track. And when I listened to it, even Impossible Princess, I found that wonderful songwriting, but very cryptic. I was sort of, and you were meant to with Impossible. The intention was there. You're meant to sort of sift through it and try to work out what does she mean. Because William Baker himself said, if you listen to Impossible Princess and read the lyrics, you will understand who Kylie is. So it was a bit of a riddle.
Kylie is.
This one was more literal though. The lyrics that she wrote here were more personal to me because they were less cryptic, and you could hear that, like you say, heartbreak on the dance floor. I just loved the lyrics of there was some daft lyrics on here, let's face it. I think all songwriters write a few daft lyrics, but for the most part these were wonderful lyrics. Some of the songs are so bright, yet the lyrics are actually quite dark in places.
Heartbreak on the dance floor.
Yeah. Before we break this epic album down track by track, Aidan, do you mind just kicking us off with a bit of a rundown about some of the formats that this was released in? Because it's been a while since we've got such a treasure trove of different formats for an album as well.
It's I'll list them here. So we got the standard CD, and then we got the deluxe, which is the media book with the really nice, really well done with the really nice glossy pictures, and then the super deluxe as well, which is the same, which has the CD and the LP. 3 versions of the LP. So we got black, clear, and then a picture disc.
How good's the clear one too? I love the clear one. I don't know why. I'm quite partial to the clear vinyl.
I really like it. I like clear vinyl. It's like, how did they do that?
Yes, exactly.
See-through. And then as well, in terms of LPs, there was at the very beginning when things went up for pre-order, they did a 50 pressing, test pressing, which was signed, which was just white label, which went immediately, sold out in literally seconds. Other than that, we've also got the Japanese CD, which has 2 remixes of Dancing on it. And then we come to the cassettes.
Yes, cassettes. The return of I am right that this is the first time she had an album on a cassette, probably since, I don't know, Light off Fever, maybe? Am I right? Or
I think it might be Light Years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a cassette of Light Years. No, I'm pretty sure Fever was on cassette too. But nonetheless, it's been a long time since we've got a cassette. And this was a special glittery one, wasn't it? I don't have a copy, unfortunately, but from what I could see, because I loved that YouTube video where she popped it into the old-fashioned Walkman.
Walkman, right?
Oh, that brought back some memories. I would like to listen to it on a Walkman, actually. So, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and they got the standard and then the signed version, the tour edition, and the Christmas edition as well.
Now, that tour and Christmas edition fascinate me because I'm sure there were ones that had some extra tracks or something, or that you could download or go online or something like that.
The tour edition had access to a live version of New York City, which she did in New York when she did the Kylie Presents
and
Golden
it's a really nice
show.
Sound quality because that's such a good song. I'm still annoyed that we can't get the studio version, but that is still a really nice audio quality. Awesome. So we were spoiled, weren't we, with the number of formats? And I think this is not only about like a treasure trove for the fans. It was just bloody clever marketing for Golden. Like the whole marketing campaign behind Golden, I think, was pretty flawless. We often talk about this in the other podcasts with different albums, how she maybe didn't promote certain parts of the album well enough or in certain territories. Here, she went to the States. She did good stuff over there. She was on all the shows in Britain. She tried to come... She was on most Australian shows via satellite. She tried to come here. She got sick there too, actually, Aidan. And she had to cancel one show down here. Or maybe... I don't think it was a show, actually, but some appearance. So, yeah, she was... This album was executed really well, which I think we have to give some credit to the new record label. Is it BMG?
If I can chime in, actually, there was no physical release of Golden anywhere in Malaysia, an official release.
Really?
Nothing. No vinyl, even like the standard CD, nothing. And this was the first Kylie release that didn't see a physical format distribution. I remember walking up to our local store, a very famous store, music store, and I went in and asked for Golden, and they said that a lot of, like, it was in demand. There were a lot of fans placing orders, but the record company just didn't distribute it to Malaysia. I had to fly to the UK.
You flew to the UK to buy Golden?
Yeah. I went on a family vacation, but my main goal obviously was to get Golden.
That is a round of applause. That is an effort. Oh, wow. Star of the day to you, Christian.
This is like, I think, her first album which didn't have regional kind of versions, like, or quote, local versions. It was
the Japanese
issued
did, though,
as
right?
the Deluxe was specifically UK and Europe. So so for example, the version I bought here when it came out was actually imported from Europe. It was weird, and one place did get their own version, and that was Brazil. Brazil got their own BMG, or I think it was Warner down in Latin America. Brazil got their own labeled version. So if you look at it, it actually says Warner Music Brazil on it or something. But otherwise, really weird. They just imported copies from...
Very centralized this time,
Europe. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think Australia as well, Liberator, Mushroom as well. I think they issued the standard as well, but not the Deluxe. Deluxe is specifically
they did
European.
have the Deluxe.
Yeah, no, we got the Deluxe.
Yeah, they did have the Deluxe.
Let's break this album down, track by track. I think it deserves it. Dancing, the lead single. What do we think of this? This was, for me, when I first heard Dancing, just like when I hear any Kylie song for the first time, and it's a short song, or it seems like a short song. It doesn't have a bridge, for example. And I listened to it, and then it went silent, and I went, okay. I was not quite sure what to make of it. That's me every time, though, when I listen to a new Kylie song. After a few listens, though, what struck me more strongly than anything else was what an earworm this was. It took like 2 or 3 listens before that chorus was just in your head. So I can really understand why they chose this as a lead single. Christian, what did you make of Dancing when you first heard it?
It didn't hit me initially, but what did the lyrics hit me when she talks about, you know, if it was your last day on earth, like, what would you do? You know, kind of like, yeah. But right now, listening to it back, I think it's an iconic Kylie song. Incredible from beginning to end. Everything about it right now to me is flawless. Even my mom loves it, and she very rarely likes contemporary music. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And Aiden, what did you make? Like they promoted this. I don't know if they meaning Kylie's team or if it was the media, but they were saying this was Kylie's death song.
I thought, well, actually, I'll say initially, like with any new music, it always takes me a few listens to really kind of let it sink in and form an opinion on it. So after the first few listens, and I mean, because it leaked, I think, a week before it was released, right? Mm-hmm. So I had already listened to it, and then when it was released, I remember I played it over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, holy crap, like, this is a really good song and a really solid lead single, and as well, kind of that, letting it sink in that this song isn't actually about dancing, it's about her dying. Like, like she's saying, like, you know, if I'm gonna die, then I want to go out dancing. And I'm like, whoa, like, you know, if you're just listening to it once, or you're just a casual person, you might think, yeah, it's just a song about dancing. But no, you listen to it and you know who Kylie is and what she was going for. It's like, oh my God, she's talking about dying.
Which is very bold for Kylie, because, you know, as a Kylie fan, yeah, we love her music, but there is that little accusation over the years that, you know, at what age is she going to stop singing about, you know, meeting a hot fella on a dance floor? When's she going to stop? So I really appreciated the attempt at, you know, looking at a more universal theme like death, or it wasn't actually about death. It was more about people's perspective on life. That's the way I took it. I know there's the reference to death in the song, but the way I looked at it is like live every moment, like a lot of songs going right back to the PWL era. This was actually about take each day as it comes and make the most of every day. It's the same sentiment as enjoy yourself, or things can only get better. And so really, but in a much more mature writing style, really. So it was a great choice of lead single. But I've got to say, the video, I loved up until the last third. I thought the last third sort of didn't really get it. It was a bit dark, and the ghouls or whatever they were meant to be didn't quite represent, I think, what they were trying to go for. But what did the video that accompanied it, was it fitting, guys, or, you know, was it everything you wanted it to be?
I loved it. I thought it was, from start to finish, it didn't seem cheesy. Which I was very afraid of. Her dancing skills are, I mean, incredible for somebody to be able to do that. I actually liked the ending bit of it. I liked the darker edge of it.
Okay.
To me, it reflected a little bit more of the lyrics. So that's my take on it. I didn't find a problem with it at all.
I really like this video, and I think it's easily one of her best videos she's done in the past decade, and she looks amazing throughout that whole video. She looks so happy, and she just looks so I mean, she always does, but it just, like, looking at it, it just feels like she's so into it, and she was so happy. Like, this is really her. It was, I mean, it's her album, but it's like, this is her video. This is really what she wanted to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that leads us to single number 2, Stop Me From Falling. Now, I don't know if other fans feel as excited about this song, and particularly this video, as I do. I actually think the video for this was finally the type of video I've been waiting for Kylie since probably Body Language or possibly X to a lesser degree, but like those really big, epic, like only a Minogue or a Madonna could make a video like that. I thought Stop Me From Falling was just brilliant. The song, and what I loved when I first heard it before the video, was those first few strings. I thought, oh my God, that's dancing. And then, oh no, it's not dancing. And I thought, and because we hadn't heard the album at that stage, I thought, there's a clue that this album's going to be cohesive. It's going to stick to what it intends to do. Because you could already... In fact, I started to wonder if they were going to start merging the tracks, because Kylie's never done that yet. I'm waiting for the album where the tracks merge into each other. So I thought maybe that was coming, but it didn't. But yeah, I love the continuity. It felt like the perfect sister to Dancing to me. But I actually thought it took it up a notch. I thought it was a much better song than Dancing, even though I did love Dancing. But when they first released that first video clip, which was like that... I know it wasn't William Baker, but William Baker-esque behind-the-scenes garbage. I wish you wouldn't do that. Kylie, if you listen, stop it with those bloody behind-the-scenes videos that some amateur seems to edit. But when the full video came out, that was the stuff. That was something you could show your family and go, hey, look, there's a new song. Do you want to watch it? Because it's a very engaging video. Kids love it. I have young kids and teenage kids. They all love it. I've shown it to a range of people. And yeah, it's just one of those videos where you could watch a couple of times and pick up something new each time. I am a huge super fan of Stop Me From Falling, and I love the beginning where there was a little bit of a story. Like so much of Golden, there was a narrative to this, and the video didn't let us down with that, because sometimes she has a narrative in a story, in a song, but doesn't follow it through in the video. Hello, Get Out of My Way, for example. God, what was that about? But here, she took the story and she wove it into the video, and she danced, because I've been waiting for her to dance for 10 years, like, because she can dance. I heard you say it before, Christian, too. And as a new fan, I'm so glad you said it, because a lot of people don't realise that she's a freaking good dancer. But apparently she got a sore back, so she doesn't dance as much as she used to. She's also 50, let's face it, she's golden. But in this video, I just thought, you haven't lost anything, my lady. You're just brilliant. So there's my gush about Stop Me From Falling. But I didn't hear other people gushing as much as me, because I was just like floored when I saw that video. Floored. Yeah. Oh, and sorry, and then the remix too. And I thought that is clever, because that was the Latin feeling, or the South American audience, and I actually thought that version was even better than the original.
For me personally, Stop Me From Falling hit me immediately. Dancing took a few listens. Stop Me From Falling was an immediate catch for me.
Good.
I was living the lyrics at that time. And
Really?
I found myself, I don't know, it felt like she purposely released it for me at that time.
That's great.
Now looking back, it brings back a lot of bittersweet memories, and I love it. And even like you said, the video, how stunning did she look in that red dress?
Oh, yes.
I mean, come on, like,
it was a great
I
look,
don't
wasn't
think
it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a superstar today that could carry herself with this much class but still be marketable. So
exactly. Couldn't have said it better. Classy, dignified, but still engaging, still fun, not slutty at all. Like, it was everything you wanted it to be. And like I say, and then in that, and even the location they used, like, it was a stunning location, that alley or whatever, that street with the overhead units and all that. It's so clever. Whoever helped her with that, they all deserve big credit. Aidan, are you a gusher about Stop Me From Falling, or Christian and I are being a bit over the top?
No, I really like it too, and I recall when the song debuted. It was about a year ago, I think, because I remember it being, I think, beginning of March, and it was around this time in the morning, I think, I stayed up to listen to it on, I think it was Radio 2
That's right.
day, debuted it, and right away I really liked it. I liked it more than Dancing as well. And as for the remix video, I completely agree. It's the kind of video we've been waiting for. The big, a little bit over the top, but in a good way. She's got all those. Again, looks amazing as usual. Got the story within it. It's entertaining. It's not just. It didn't feel like a video for the sake of making a video. It felt like it had a purpose to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kylie fans often pretend that they don't care about sales figures anymore, chart positions anymore, YouTube figures anymore. They bloody well do. All you people out there who post things online saying, "Oh, we don't care, we just wanted to release good music." Liars, you all care. And I was a bit disappointed with the figures for Stop Me From Falling in terms of not the charts, because I'm actually not quite across what those were. I'm talking about the viewing figures for that video, because when I first saw it, because I remember the viewing figures were only about 400, so I must have been one of the first people to actually watch it. But I actually said to my kids, I said, this video is going to go like the Miley Cyrus millions, like, and it still did really well, don't get me wrong, but it was nowhere in the stratosphere of, you know, your Bruno Mars's and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I wish more people saw it, because I feel like if someone watched it, they might just watch it again, because you take one watch and it's very catchy. Very catchy.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Golden, the title track. Track 3 on the album, Golden. I love it. It's got that, apparently, I didn't know, but there's a movie, what is it, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly or something? There's a Western, so that first yodeling sort of dangerous sort of sound is apparently from a Western, a sample.
Yes.
Very close to a sample.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Well, I loved the sound. I didn't know where it was from.
So well.
Yeah. It certainly draws you in right from the beginning of the track. But this track it's just good. This is a great song, and very the lyrics. I mean, what can you say? It says everything about a woman who is owning her age, which is, you know, the antithesis of. Not to make the comparison. Well, I am making a comparison, I guess. But with Madonna, she's very defensive when she's asked about age in interviews.
Yeah,
she's very defensive. She's like, "I'll do what I want," and da 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 da. Kylie, I reckon, she does watch Madonna, and I reckon with this one, she's come in and went, "You know what? I'm going to be asked about my age. I'm just going to own it." And I think that says a lot about her family and her parents. Like, she's watched her mother and grandmother age with dignity and grace. I think she has really done that beautifully. And this song, the lyrics, including the video too, all captures just how well she's... And for me, who's quite a few years behind Kylie, but she's always taught me how to behave at certain age points in my life. I followed her right from when I was 7, 8, something like that. And I've always watched her, like, negotiate certain periods, her teenage years, her 20s, her 30s, I've watched her, and I actually take little leaps from her. So it was really empowering for me as a fan to watch how she dealt with 50. She didn't deny it. She didn't become defensive. She didn't pretend it didn't exist. She fucking owned it. Mm-hmm. How good is that? Yes. How many pop stars... Have you ever... Do you know anyone else who's owned it? I don't. Jane Fonda maybe, but she's not a pop star. Amazing stuff.
And she was so confident in owning it, you know, and you could see that she was proud. And, I mean, just incredible. To me, the song is not my favorite on the album. It's one of the most simpler tracks, personally.
Yep.
I do love the video. I think it's, again, stunning. But the song didn't hit me as hard as some of the later tracks on the album, personally.
I agree with that. My favourite part of the song is actually, if you call it a bridge, where she says, "We're not young and we're not old." That like, it's almost poetry within the middle of the song. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
And she wrote those lyrics. In fact, I think she said she had only those lyrics ready for this song. Oh no, actually for this album, and she wanted to put them somewhere and it fit right there. Yeah. Aidan, what did you make of this track?
I think just going off of the lyrics, she's talked about that so many times throughout the campaign, and she's obviously really, really proud of the song in particular, and the way she molded. I really like the song. This is definitely one of my favorite title tracks she's ever done. Out of all of them,
is it the first time she's released a title track too? I believe it might be. As a single. I had a feeling that it would be time for her to
release it.
It's strange
and
how the little
do it.
things amuse the Kylie community, isn't it? Like, I've been dying for her to release a title track for some reason.
Yeah.
Some of her albums aren't even named after a track. Like Enjoy Yourself.
Yeah.
She wanted,
she doesn't
she
actually
wanted-
use the words Enjoy Yourself in that song, but
Yeah, well, with Enjoy Yourself, I think that's if I'm recalling correctly, the only title track that was ever up for consideration as a single. I don't think there was any others that I can recall that were up.
It's a great track. Now, the video, really briefly, I have mixed feelings about the video because I love the courage of the video, but again, and I think all Kylie fans listening, the hardcore ones, will know what I mean by it felt a bit William Baker-esque. Just a little bit. It certainly wasn't high budget, put it that way, but those shots of her... the media picked up on this she's makeup free thing. They often say that about Kylie. Kylie is never makeup free, my friends. Believe me, even though that was stripped back makeup, I get it, but there was a lot of effort went into creating that stripped back, in inverted commas, look. And you've got a bit to do with fashion, Christian, so you can probably comment on that. But yeah, look, in terms of the video, I loved it, but after Stop Me From Falling, I think I was just gushing so much about that, as people now know. I was hoping for something like, and because of the drama in the song of Golden, I thought maybe the video might capture some of that drama. There's a danger, especially around the beginning, and it just didn't translate into the video for me.
This video was filmed off of the back of Stop Me From Falling, I think, and it was kind of done in impromptu, just as a kind of fun kind of thing. Yeah, kind of, it doesn't live up to, I guess, what I would imagine as a really, grandiose representation of the song in a video. No. I remember actually, I came home from a really stressful day of work. I worked late, and I came home, I had dinner, and I was sitting there, and there's this entertainment show we have, and they freaking, I was so happy they did this, and they mentioned Kylie, and they gave her a shout out for her 50th, and they ended the show with showing the Golden video.
Wow. In Canada.
I was like, and let me tell you, seeing Kylie on TV here is pretty rare.
Yes.
So to have a moment like that, I was like, holy shit.
Proud Aiden. Proud Aiden. Did you get up and clap?
I turned around and I was just like, this just made this whole day worth it, because I'm like, I couldn't believe they did it. Like they mentioned, she actually, it wasn't shown on air, but she did an interview with them as well, as a little bit of Canadian promotion, and that was posted online. But yeah, they gave her, they talked about her. They mentioned The Locomotion, which was a huge hit here as well back in the 80s. And then they played the Golden video. I'm like, yes.
Aiden, she cheered you up. She is a musical mood stabilizer, isn't she? Let's move on to track really 4, is. A Lifetime to Repair. I like this song. It's really cool. The only disappointment I have with this is that the sort of meatier version that they eventually released doesn't
during the chorus.
Yeah, I like it though. I like the meat, and then they have a bit more fiddle, I think, somewhere.
Yeah,
and they didn't use that version as far as I can remember in the Golden Tour. I just liked it. It had a bit more meat to it, a bit more of bass or something like that, and I liked that version. But you don't get to hear it very often.
So the verses threw me off a little bit. I found it a little bit too country for my taste. But the chorus, oh my God. Like, how can you not move?
Yes, danceable, isn't it?
And now looking back, it's a highlight of the whole project. The lyrics, I finally came around to some of her pronunciations during the verses, but
pronunciations of certain words. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you give an example of that?
I'm trying to think of. I think when she mentions when she's fallen off the wagon. If I-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a bit too much for me in the beginning. Yeah, especially coming from her very pop background from All the
Yes.
Lovers to, so it threw me off a little bit, but the chorus is just, I mean, it's foot stomping. Now I love it. I love it. I think it's an iconic track from the album.
Aiden, what do you make of this one?
This is my favorite from the album, and I completely agree with the straying a little bit too much into the country. This song, I like it because of the subject matter of the song, but
Yeah.
I actually really like the it's almost like she's doing it on purpose. She's playing it up on purpose to make the song, a little bit like I can picture it in my mind if she actually did a proper video for it, kind of it really being comical and kind of funny. Because if you listen to the lyrics, they're a little bit, it's one of those songs that's really happy sounding, but she's talking about, if I get my heart broken again, I'll need a lifetime to repair. And she's talking about coming off of, I guess, the relationship that she had, and being really hurt. But I feel like she did that on purpose, that she like with this one, she really kind of drove it home and made it a little bit funny. But it's my absolute favorite from the album, no doubt.
Wow. Big kudos to this song then, by the sound of it. I love it. What did you both make of the lyric video?
It's cute. I really, and I mean, we got a video for everything else. I really wish she'd polished it off and given this one a proper video as well.
Yeah, this could have been the true in the barnyard type of video, couldn't it? This one,
Yeah.
It could have.
That's the other thing I wanted to say with A Lifetime to Repair. I just want to square dance, like shamelessly.
Yes, I've never wanted to square dance in my life, but I can picture me doing it to that.
I just want to do it, and like just shamelessly, it's on. It's like I don't even care.
Well, you know what,
It's like-
Aiden, if you get to Australia, and Christian, you too, we probably need another person because square dancing probably needs 4. I'm imagining. We'll all do it together, all right?
Yeah, sounds good.
to this song. Yeah, my kids love the lyric video. It's got cute's the absolute best word for it, and it's so Kylie. You can tell Kylie would have watched it and she would have loved that because she likes cute things like that. Track 5 on the album is Sincerely Yours. This is the famous song that was written and confirmed by her, absolutely the love note to her fans. Fantastic words in this song, because they really do, as someone who's been around for this long with her, they meant a lot. But I want to know if anyone listening, or you two, felt a hint of hello, what's she trying to say? Because when she talks about going away, but it was scary to me. I'm thinking, is this her coded message? Is this her last album for a while? Is she about to take a whole heap of time off? By the way, I'll also just mention that allegedly, I'm the one here out of the 3 of us who's in Australia. This was allegedly a single in Australia.
Yes, it was.
But, hello, I'm here and I didn't see no single. I didn't see no video, no lyric video, no physical format, no digital release. I don't know. What... How was this? How does this qualify as a single in Australia?
No, and she didn't even perform it on tour, right?
No.
So,
I was I thought that would have been lovely too. I'm really baffled by that. Don't get me wrong, the Golden Tour I will speak no ill of, but I was baffled that her love note to the fans was not sung. That was bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember what's Liberator Mushroom issuing like a statement that it was for the tour,
and that
she's
was the
touring.
release, Aiden. Thank you for that. That was the release, as far as I could see. The statement that it was a single was the only thing that was released.
It was given like it was a statement of release that Kylie's going to be touring Australia. Her new Australian single is "Sincerely Yours" or something like that.
Yeah. And that's
And as
happened
well,
before
with it-
because, sorry to interrupt you, but like when we had Light Years, there was Your Disco Needs You. And yes, we did get something in our shops or something that we could get our hands on. But all those times, there was evidence of that single. There was no bloody evidence of Sincerely Yours being released in Australia,
Yeah.
unless someone listening is now angrily typing a response to this podcast. But I certainly saw nothing.
They kind of just said that it was a single and that was it.
Yes.
But nothing else happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of the more fuller pop tracks on the album. I took it on a more personal level because at that time, the person that caused me heartbreak was fluent in French. So when she inserted the kind of like au revoir, it felt like a personal touch to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, another standout on the album.
Hey, and Christian, by the way, as an uncouth, uneducated, bogan Australian, it took me so long to work out what she was saying there. This isn't... I was like, what's she saying? This isn't... once I... Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yes.
If I'm saying it correctly, it's French for goodbye until we meet again.
I knew au revoir. I looked up the definition because I knew it, was a way of saying goodbye. But the way I kind of look at this song is because au revoir, and like you said, Christian, is goodbye until we meet again. And I kind of look at the song as a way of, it's kind of retroactive, I think, because she kind of went away for a little while, made the album. And I kind of look at it as a way of saying, even when I'm not around and, you're not seeing me, I'm still there and we'll meet again. So I definitely don't think it's a goodbye in any kind of realm.
It sounded like she was dying, Aiden. Maybe there's something wrong with my brain. It sounded like she was dying or been diagnosed with something, because I was picturing the meet again business being a bit spiritual, I suppose. Like, we'll meet again in another. Many songs are like, we'll meet again in heaven. Like Janet Jackson has Together Again, and there's that big song, I Know We'll Meet Again, Mariah Carey's one. I thought it was along those lines, we'll meet again. But yes, and because of the scare that we've all been through as fans, gave me a bit of a heart leap for a little while.
I can see it fits in with the same kind of theme, and it has kind of an ambiguous meaning, so I can see why people were concerned, myself included. I wanted to say as well, just briefly as a little note regarding the tour, I just think that Love at First Freaking Sight was hogging Sincerely Yours place in the set list.
Good on you. Yes, that would have been exactly where it would have fit, because it was the first encore too, wasn't it? It would have been the right place to do it, just before Dancing, which is where Love at First Sight was, I think. By the way, this was written co-written by Amy Wadge. Apparently, Ed Sheeran's one of his favourite writers played a part in writing this song, which is very interesting to me. Track 6 is One Last Kiss.
Not my favorite. It didn't stand out to me on the first listen. It doesn't stand out to me right now. I don't skip it, but the production just didn't hit me as some of the other tracks. Lyrically, I think it's beautiful.
Yep.
But production-wise, it's a bit muted for me.
I have literally, and when I mean literally, I actually mean that in the truest sense. Like, in the last week, it has grown on me. And I listened back to it and I'm like, you know what? Because I really didn't like it. I thought it was only one of two real duds on the album. The other one will be revealed later, in my opinion.
We can guess.
And I thought, no, I don't like this track. It kind of falls a little bit flat, feels a little bit fillerish to me still. However, I've been listening to it the past week, and I'm like, I can kind of get into it and the production. So it's not terrible.
For me personally, I need to listen to it as a standalone in comparison to the rest of the other album.
I agree.
To listening to the whole album, because the whole album just overshadows it to me. Yeah.
Little bit of a stocking filler, that one, I reckon. Track 7 is Live a Little.
I love
This-
it. Sorry, Aiden, go ahead.
This track was freaking robbed. This
Yeah.
this era. Like I'm so.
Yes.
I mean, I can't. If there's hardly any complaints I have about this era, but if there's one complaint I do have, it's that this track didn't get its time to shine live. I really wish she'd done it at least once, or at least did it on one leg of the tour. I can't believe she let it, and it's going to fall into that bracket of a track that is just an album track and she's never going to touch it. Who knows? Unless she does an anti-tour when she's like 80 years old, maybe.
and Christian, it wasn't sung on the tour either. This is one of your favourites though, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, as soon as the chorus hits and the backing vocals come in, the rush it gives you, Pat, with those lyrics, I don't know how this was left off the set list. Even during the intimate shows, the early shows, it was never performed. It's like, it literally went unnoticed. It's missed opportunity.
Oh, there's outrage here at the podcast. There's outrage. What happened to Live a Little?
The intro of I love the kind of the distortion of the guitar. I really like that, and the chorus as well. Obviously, when you have that drop and it just goes into it, is really really good.
The second chorus
Such a
is
missed
incredible.
opportunity.
Oh, yes.
And this is one of those tracks that's really infused with that country flavour. Yep, it's definitely one of those fan favourites. Hey, guess what I found out about track 8 today? Shelby 68. I found out something that I didn't know. I'd be interested to know if this is common knowledge or not.
There's nothing on earth that a girl could do the very first minute that I laid my eyes on you.
The car sounds that are a big part of this, which by the way were criticised by at least 2 reviewers that I saw who thought that was a little bit cheesy, putting the car sound in. I thought it's genius, but there you go. That's just me. Apparently Brendan Minogue, who's Kylie's and Danny's sister, he recorded those with a proper recording device from the dad's car, who's Ron, from the actual car. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I was
actually found
just
that today as
thinking
well.
about that, actually.
Yeah, I've got this really vivid picture of him in the garage now with an old-fashioned Walkman, like just going, oh, God, I can't believe Kylie's getting me to record Dad's engine. What the hell is she on about? What's she doing? Why does she need this?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think how he did it. Like, how close was
I know. That's right.
holding the recorder to the car?
But he was a camera. I don't know if he still is. He was a cameraman with Channel 9 here in Australia. So he probably does know a little bit about audio visual. The curiosity I've got is, like, how did that come about? Like, does Kylie ring Brendan and go, you know what, I don't want to tell you what it's for, Brendan, but I just need you to go and record Dad's car. It's a surprise. I've got a surprise for... Oh, Kylie, what's this for? You're always making me do stuff like this. It's like a bad storyline from Neighbours days, basically.
Yeah. I'm just totally picturing that now. It's like, you'll find out what it's for later. It's a surprise.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
And I'm wondering if Danny's like going, why didn't she call me? Why didn't she get me to do it? I know how to use a recorder. So immature. What do we make of this song, though? I don't particularly like this song, even though I love the fact that she wrote a song with her dad in mind and stuff, and 68's obviously a reference to her year of birth.
I contrast to the reviewers who think it's cheesy. I like the car sounds. I think it fits really well. The song isn't actually about her dad. It's kind of, meeting someone and being kind of, one of those songs being swept away. So it's kind of like, pardon the pun, but the vehicle, to, move the song along and kind of the theme. So I get that she had that in mind.
Yeah.
But the song isn't actually about her dad or the car.
Maybe I'm reading too much into the lyrics, but I can feel her pain when she sings for some reason.
Wow.
It's very intimate to me. I love it. Everything about it. I don't think there's any fault in it at all. And I'm very happy that I have a song like this for me to listen to.
Oh, I love how you're such a fan of the whole album, aren't you, my friend? You just love it. This really meant a lot to you, this album. And Kylie would love to hear that because, especially she invested so much of herself in this. So it's so good to hear that it did resonate with people. I mean, track number 9, Radio On, that resonated with me.
Oh, it's Saturday night or Sunday starting.
For me, what stands out above even the track is the production. I'm a bit of an audio fiend. Like, I'm not particularly good at it or skilled at it, but I've got a very acute ear. And when I first listened to this, it was like, her vocals are so much more rich than anywhere else. And plus, it's so more... By the way, if you want to listen to Radio On in the car, it's like she's in the car with you. I don't know how they did it.
This is a song that definitely, probably the top one that resonated with me at the time it was out, and going through the difficulties I was having with my professional life at the time.
Yeah.
It literally became my morning song, and I would be on the bus going to work.
Oh, nice.
And I would be in the mindset, I'm like, I really do not want to go to work. And I was just at a point where I was like, I want to avoid this place at all costs, but I gotta go.
Wow.
And I would put it on, and I would just, kind of calm myself down in the morning and get myself ready for the day.
Oh.
And Radio One was the song. It literally, the meaning of the song became what the song meant for me.
I've got to say, I'm sorry to steer off Radio 1 for a minute, but I'm just getting goosebumps here listening to you both, because this is the first podcast I've ever done where, as a theme and over, repeated, we're all talking about what songs that Kylie wrote meant to us in our personal lives. Yeah. This isn't a throwaway album, is it? Just this discussion is proving it to me. Like, I read it, I heard it, I saw on forums that songs were resonating. She said it in interviews. But until I've had this discussion, my God, this album got us all three of us so far, through some hard times.
If I can share a personal story about how the song kind of resonated with me. Well, I think, when you go through heartbreak, I think for the first few weeks or the initial stages, everything just feels numb. And you don't know what you are.
Sure.
I remember being on a plane to Sydney, and it was nighttime, so everyone was sleeping, and I was tired. And this song came on, and I just broke down, and everything just unleashed, and I could feel again.
Wow.
Especially when she says the lyrics, "And there in the moment, I'm strong."
Yes, that last bit. Yes.
I just told myself, like, it's okay if tomorrow you're not okay, but right now, just get through whatever you need to get through.
Yes.
This song still holds a very special place in my heart. Like I said, the whole album is just so powerful, So this song is no exception to it.
And besides everything else, Radio On is just a beautifully written song as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautifully crafted, so simple, in its execution too. And I think it comes at a point, it's obviously track 9, I think, and it that's exactly the point where you need that. So even when we talk about Golden as, as a whole package, there was so much thought into everything. Like, apparently there was a lot of different versions of the mixes of these songs, and I know that's fairly common, but so much cohesion in this album, and then even the placement of the tracks. That's why I will say to everyone listening, please listen to Golden as a whole album, not just as individual tracks, because it actually is a journey. What about track 10, Love?
Love is a matter of taste. Don't let her go to waste.
Yeah, it just doesn't live up to the rest of the album. And I think it's just kind of, towards the end of the standard release anyway, to kind of pad it up. And yeah, it's cute, like, listening to it. It's got a few cute lyrics, but it doesn't really do anything for me.
I know Mikey, who participates in lots of podcasts, he's from Sydney. Mikey loved this song. He said it was the pick of the album. I have to say, it's, for me, I'll just summarise mine by going, meh. That's my impression. I'm not a big fan of Love at all. What about you, Christian?
I like it. I like how the production is very... it holds a lot of contrast to the lyrics, because I think that she's so honest here. She's so honest and she's so descriptive here. And to me personally, she's one of the most personal songs she's ever written. in my eye. It's very cute. It's very girly. I love it.
People listening, you have to leave your comments because we're a little bit split here about love.
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you love it? Do you love love or do you hate love? Or are you indifferent to love? And I'm talking about the track, not love in general. Raining Glitter, a promotional single here. Raining Glitter was dropped, and this is part of that promotion that I'm talking about that was executed so well. Finally, not 4 weeks for it to be downloadable and all that sort of crap that went on with some previous albums. She did the standard thing these days, which is to drop a surprise one. Bang, it went onto Spotify, YouTube, all at once. It was just beautiful. I loved it. It was like an event. I love this track.
There was a lot of buzz about this track before it was released because she performed it during the intimate shows, and I saw a lot of people raving about it.
Yes,
on Twitter.
You're right.
It's very reminiscent to her early work. I love it. I think it's incredible.
I love
I'm so
the
happy.
lyric. No more standing in the shadows. Yeah.
I wish it was. I wish the song got its own. I mean, I wish she sang the whole thing, but at least she gave us.
We were a little bit ripped
hint,
off with that, weren't we? Yeah, just a tiny bit of it. Yeah, that's right. But when those first chords came on, I don't know if this was at every show, at Sydney's show. You could tell all the super fans because it was like, yes, like a really big eruption for the first few chords of it because it's a beautiful first few chords, like it really is.
Yeah.
Aiden, I'm going to guess that you're a Raining Glitter fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. How could I not be? Going off in terms of the on the tour, I was really surprised that it didn't get its own slot.
Yeah.
As well, because she said before the tour, she gave 2 spoilers. She said, "Absolutely Lost Without You" and "Raining Glitter" are on the set list. As the tour morphed and they planned it out, and they decided, hey, we should, she probably got the idea. You know what? Why don't we throw in New York City and do a medley? Or if someone had the idea. So I theorized that when they were planning everything out, it was originally supposed to have its own slot, and then that idea probably popped up, but that's just my thought.
Maybe, yeah.
In terms of the song, it's proof that you can mix disco with a little bit of country.
Yes, exactly.
It didn't feel out of place at all.
No, it didn't. Strangely,
not
did
at all.
Yeah,
I love the really. It has a really, really hard disco production that's this is disco, this is proper
and a little bit production. Of a nod to Time Bomb. Thank you. Whoop. It's good to hear the whoop back. I liked that as well.
The little whoops.
Yeah.
Make the song.
That's nice, and I love
it. Quirks that she has.
Yes, exactly. She likes a good whoop. She really does. We go to the final track of the album, at least for standard edition. Music's Too Sad Without You. Now, I don't know if I'm right or wrong about this, but apparently this was recorded quite well back for a film, and I don't know if it ever actually made it into the film. I don't know, but I have noticed, and I could be wrong about this too, that this one seems to divide fans a bit. Not everyone. For me, it's just a no-brainer. It's a beautiful song. It's wonderful. It's almost like the cousin to Radio 1 to me.
When you played me that song, gave every word meaning, showed me a place we belong.
It took a while to grow on me. I appreciate it now a lot, but initially I found it a bit too similar to something Lana Del Rey might put out. So yeah, especially during the ending of the chorus. So it didn't really grab me at that point, especially coming off Raining Glitter. But right now, looking back, listening to the project again, it's beautiful. The video is executed immaculately, in my opinion. Perfect closure to the standard edition.
I don't know, Jack Savaretti seems so uncomfortable on stage to me. That always makes me feel a bit awkward watching him, because it's like watching this such a natural lover of being on stage, and then and again, maybe I'm completely wrong, but just as an observer, he looks so uncomfortably nervous when he performs this song. He warmed up because they performed it quite a few times live.
Yeah.
Aiden, what do you make of this track?
I have to admit it's not my favorite. However, that doesn't take away the fact that it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And actually, an interview came out the other day with Jack Savaretti. I don't know if you guys saw it. where he says Kylie and his recording session was originally supposed to be for a cover of the Rivers of Babylon.
Oh, I wanted it so badly when I read that. I thought, why didn't you do that too? Oh, that would have been cool. But they weren't brave enough or something.
The fact that they went in and then he had obviously already written part of the song and the music. And then I guess they finished it off together. So I have a feeling it must have been like the first track that was written for the album.
The video clip, I heard Christian say, it was well executed. I thought it was a bit bland, personally. I loved the way she looked in it, but I just thought it sort of didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I thought still, I'm really, really proud that that's on the album. Then we go to our deluxe version tracks. So we'll just go through these probably a little bit quicker than the other ones. Lost Without You. This, am I wrong that this sounds a bit like one of those Garibay, if that's the way you pronounce it, those EP types of tracks that she was doing before, and she loves that style. I don't. Black and white and all those other ones that she recorded for the EP, Chasing Ghosts, I think it was. This reminds me of out of that sort of same barrel of songs. I'm not suggesting that was written at the same time, but she just loves that sort of style. It's a bit avant-garde almost. But then when I saw it performed live, probably because of the passion she sings it with, I developed a new appreciation for it, but I'm still not totally taken with this song.
My favorite track on the album.
Wow!
I'm sorry. My favorite track on the album. It's so beautiful, so euphoric. You can feel what she's singing. From start to finish, everything was immaculate. From the first time I heard it and today, I still get goosebumps every time I hear it. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy she performed it on tour. I'm so happy it got its own moment. Really beautiful. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, she loves it too. You can tell it's probably one of her favourites. Aidan, where do you stand with this one?
I really like this one. This is one of my favourites on the album, and listening to it, it's obviously one of her favourites too. I mean, she says that when the final mix came through, she cried when she heard it.
I saw
so
that.
She obviously is really proud of this song, and she says she thought to get it on the album as well.
Really?
Which is interesting. But I think this was really, and now that you mention the Garibay tracks, I actually would agree with that. That it kind of leans more towards that kind of style than that.
And Kylie fans are split on that. Some people love that, and she clearly does. Yes, like you say, leans towards the indie stuff. I think she really enjoys that. But some fans are just like in it for the classic Kylie, and
the style as well, and having the spoken lyrics especially was something really. I can't even think of anything else that she's done like that in her career where she's had the spoken lyrics and that kind of style in her songs. So it was something really different for her.
Yeah, and it's funny because you're right. I don't think to that extent she's ever spoken lyrics quite as much. I'm thinking of in My Arms, and like there's a little bit of speaking. She does that from time to time, but you're right, probably not to this extent. Okay, so there you go. I'm outvoted there, Lost Without You, and I already see the comments below this. Most people would say, what's he talking about? Lost Without You is the greatest song on the album. Yes, I know I'm in the minority. Leave me alone. Every Little Part of Me is track 14 on the deluxe version. This for me is another. I'm not a huge fan of this song. I don't hate it. There's not a single golden track that I hate. That I usually do hate one or two songs on. Ones that I always skip, I suppose. There's nothing I skip on Golden. So when I say I'm not particularly keen on it, I actually literally mean it. It doesn't mean I don't like it. But this is one of those for me. How about you guys? Every Little Part of Me.
I love how pop heavy it is. This track was actually one of my top 5 most listened to tracks of 2018 for some reason.
Someone's been looking at their statistics on Spotify.
I love it. It's very straightforward pop. I think it deserves to be on the deluxe edition.
Yep.
But I'm happy it's there. I love it. It's very quick. It's very snappy, and there is an emotional connection to it. So it wins for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. It deserves to be on the standard. It's definitely leans more towards mainstream, like kind of what's more popular. I could honestly hear it on the radio. It has more of that kind of current production that's top four. You know, for the lack of a better term, top 40 sounding.
So
kind of
bland and predictable is what you're basically saying.
Yeah, I do like it. Though it's it's a nice track. It's nothing to write home about, but yeah, I don't hate a single track on this album either.
And Aidan, what about Rollin' then? Number 15.
Rollin' is I have to say a little bit of a dancing rehash in my opinion.
Oh wow, okay. Yep.
In a way, except not as well done. So it's definitely my least played Deluxe track. It has a nice production. It leans back more towards the country side of things, but not my favorite either.
Christian?
This was the first track I didn't feel anything at all. I don't want to use this word, but it felt like it's like a throwaway. I agree. It's like dancing's less well executed sister. I think it was a kind of like a B-side to the vinyl.
It's funny that
right?
it was the B-side.
Yeah. So I don't like it at all. I'm not saying I don't like it at all, but it's not my go-to on the album, and I kind of forget it's on the album sometimes, which is not something.
So if we all agree that Rollin' is a bit forgettable, what about Low Blow?
Yeah.
Because for me, I think I said this on a chat forum somewhere, that Low Blow to me is what... Sorry, I'll start that again. Low Blow for me is what I Feel For You is to Body Language. It's the eccentric... weirdo song, which is just fun though. To me, it really, for some reason, I always think I Feel For You and Low Blow go together. And it was surprising because I wrote it thinking, God, that sounds weird, but quite a few people went, yeah, I see what you mean, because it's the quirky song, isn't it?
This is one of my favorites on the album as well, and I freaking love I Feel For You. It's been one of my favorite Body Language tracks since I first heard Body Language. It is so absolutely in the same vein as, you have the cute Kylie, you have the dance Kylie, you have the indie Kylie, and then you just have the weirdo Kylie. This is one of those weirdo moments that is, it's another track I think as well where that really plays up the country kind of theme, swinging your lasso at my rodeo.
Oh yes. Now
and not to mention, I mean, that particular line as well, I think is, leaves it open to a whole bunch of sexual innuendo as well. So it's
what, in terms of swinging your lasso
at my rodeo, it's like you can interpret that in...
I think you've just got a dirty mind. She's just swinging the lasso.
Yeah.
That's all she's doing.
Maybe, Actually, that is actually not my original thought. Someone else said that, and I'm just repeating it.
I agree. It's very interesting. It's very fun. I do wish it wasn't the closing track. I wish she picked something more in line with the theme of the whole album. But it's very quirky. It's very fun. It's very different. And the album needed that. So I love it. Yeah.
Now, we've done the track by track. We're coming to an end, but before we go, we need to talk. Aidan is a bit of a chart fiend. We need to point out that this actually went the first album since Fever that held the #1 spot in Australia and the UK at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, what other statistics are there here? I mean, Golden was, let's be honest, because as Kylie fans, we don't want to embellish, we don't want to overstate. I would actually, I'll just be the reasonable one here, if that's all right. Golden, even though it had some amazing peaks, it only performed moderately. Am I right? Or am I going to be argued with there? Like, this was not a smash hit. I think it was more of a hit in terms of credibility for Kylie, maturity for Kylie.
I mean, in terms of marketing, I think it's been great this era. She's done well to kind of reach out to other places, done a little bit in North America, done a little bit in Europe. But she kind of focuses a lot on the UK, and it makes sense because she's really successful there. And I think the album there, I mean, in terms of sales, it's blown Kiss Me Once out of the water. It sold a lot more than Kiss Me Once there, but I'm inclined to agree globally. She doesn't repeat the same success that she usually has in her biggest markets, which is, usually the UK, Australia, and by extension, some European countries as well. I think in over here in North America, it did really well for her standard, anyway. Because you can't, we're always wanting to compare, this person to the other person and how they sold and everything. For her standards and her status that she has over here, it did well.
So did it have the cut through in the States that she hoped? Because she did put effort into it this time. She went over there. She, not after the fact. She was in the middle of the campaign. She made sure she was in the States at some point, which must have been a treat for her fans over there. Did it actually have the cut through over there? Did it chart, for example?
Yes, it got to, so on the US Billboard 200, which is a 200 position chart, it peaked at number 64.
Wow, that's pretty good, right?
Isn't bad. For her. I mean, it charted lower than Kiss Me Once. It charted lower than Kiss Me Once here as well. But in terms of looking, I was talking with some other fans before, and we thought that it wasn't even gonna break through on the chart at all. We thought, because of that whole streaming thing as well and how that influences everything. We thought, nah. But don't underestimate her. I feel like people underestimate her all the time, even around fans.
Oh yeah.
The person I was talking to as well, because it's like, well, she did it. She has a really core, loyal fan base over here that it will buy the albums if she ever freaking comes back. They will go, and she has such a, I guess I don't want to say, she's above cult following, I think, but. Definitely don't underestimate her.
Very loyal fans, a loyal base. That's right. And Christian, what did you make of the project that was Golden as a whole?
I agree. It didn't do mind-blowing sales, but what I do agree with as well is, I think what this album did is strengthen her credibility. It's a really solid project if you compare to Kiss Me Once, where you didn't know where she was going, and it looked like it was going downhill after that album, personally for me.
Yeah.
But this one, I think, cements her, and because of this, it kind of reminds me of, I'm sorry if I'm bringing another artist, but Carly Rae Jepsen, when she released Emotion, didn't do mind-blowing sales, but what it did was bring her a lot of credibility in the pop world.
Yeah.
So I think the next album, because of how much the fans love this album, the next album will be a lot bigger in my perspective.
It's easy to forget, I think, because we're wrapping up the Golden Era, that this was a big gamble. A big gamble for Kylie.
Yeah.
It was huge, actually, because especially after Kiss Me Once, she might have been better. Like a strategist might have said, you know what, go back to what you do, make good dance music. But no, she didn't. Although, by the way, the first draft of Golden was going to be exactly that, really good, solid pop songs. But then once she got to Nashville, it all started to make sense, all of that sort of stuff, as we know. But, now that she's taken the gamble and it's paid off, reputation, credibility, all of that, she's walked away glowing, golden. What next, though? What do you do after an album like Golden? Surely we can at least rule out repeating. No more country, right? Not that it's quite strange, because we've just sat here with a glowing review of this album. But for me personally, if she said she was going to do country influence again, I would cry, which is quite strange. I don't know why. It makes no sense. So I'm putting it right out there. It's not a rational thing to say, but I don't want it to repeat this again. I've heard that. Thank you very much. And as I said at the top of this podcast, I'd like to see her go and do finally the killer disco album that I know is in this woman, because she hasn't. People often tell me, no, Light Years, that was it. No, I'm talking even more disco than Light Years. What do you both think she needs to do after Golden, now that this era is wrapped up?
If this era had been of a similar standard, or God forbid lower than Kiss Me Once,
we'd be in trouble.
she could have been over it. Like, it could have been it for her.
She would have had to,
And-
at the minimum, she would have had to take quite a few years out. She would have just had to
Yeah.
retreat.
Yeah.
Truly, she wouldn't have survived another flop.
I don't think she's going to repeat the country influence again. Because if you look back to, say, you know, an album like Impossible Princess, like an album like Body Language, she did that, you
And
know,
then-
genre. You know, you had the indie Kylie for one album, you had urban R&B Kylie for one album. Now you have country Kylie for one album, and she is, you know, really good at making the genre work for what she's going for at the time, I think. But then, you know, she, you know, pulls back and reassesses and thinks what's next. And I think country worked, or the country influence worked for her this time because of what she was going for. And she wanted that personal kind of storytelling album. I think where we're going next with a new studio album, hopefully sooner than later. I would love one by next year. I think she's going to go. She's already mentioned that she's thinking about it and what she wants to do next. I think she's going to go back to the pure pop roots and the disco and doing all that. But I don't think she's ever going to lose that level of artistry that she has now.
I hope
in
not.
the
We want her to
songwriting.
write, right? We want her to write, no matter what what the style is.
Yeah.
We want her to write more.
I
And
I really hope that she will write most, if not all. You know, I don't expect her to write all the songs because I think she's an expert at taking songs and making them
interpreting.
work for her.
Yep.
So I don't expect her to always write everything, but I would like to see a good chunk of future albums written and developed by her, absolutely.
And Christian, it's not even a rumour. The stock Pete Waterman, I think it is, has confirmed that they've got an album ready for Kylie to do if she wants. You know, a real PWL retro album. He said he's got it's actually there, ready. If she wants to walk in the studio, she could do it. Should she be doing something like that, maybe?
Maybe not exactly that, but I do agree with you. I want a big disco throwback album. I want it to feel fun. I want it to feel loud.
I'm thinking
and
Bruno
I want
Mars
and I
Treasure.
want us gays to thrive off that album. She needs to do that. She needs to show people what we see in her. She needs to
Yes.
show the mainstream that, and she has it in her. And I want it to be big. I want it to be bold. I want it to be extravagant in sound. I'm happy she did this. I'm happy she did Golden, but it's time to go back to those big pop hooks.
Yes. Oh, Christian, I couldn't have said that better myself because that's exactly my sentiments. For me, it's like Bruno Mars's 24 Carat album. Really, even the production of it, they've used really beautiful 90s set. That I'm not suggesting, or even a 90s album actually for Kylie. Or I'm more suggesting the 70s, and I want the production to be vinyl in, like Madonna did Erotica, and literally they didn't really they didn't layer over the demos very much. They kept it in that raw demo. I think she could do 70s disco, like, but I'm talking original tracks, not covers. I want something like
definitely.
that. So look, I think we're all really champing at the bit for the next era and dying to see what it is, because there's just a hunch from all Kylie fans that she's about to come back with something pretty big. That's my hunch. I don't know why. I just get the feeling the next one, this was sort of like putting the golf ball on the tee, Golden, and she's done it, and it's sitting there beautifully. She's perched it perfectly. Now take the swing, Kylie. Take the swing. Do it well. That's what we want to see next. Leave your comments, people listening. We want to know what do you want to see from Kylie next? What's the next era? What does it need to be? What sort of videos should it have? What sort of concert tours should it have? Should it be stripped back, scaled back again? Or are you a bit like us here? You want the extravagant Kylie a little bit back, even though we appreciate Golden? Who knows? We'd love to hear from you. Listen, Christian and Aidan, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining in on the Golden Retro review tonight. It's been fantastic reliving the whole experience. It's been great. It's been wonderful to live through a fantastic Golden era. Because technically, we haven't had a really fun era for a long time because Kiss Me Once I'd rather sort of forget, and I think Kylie does it. By the way, the proof that she wants to forget it, I'm going to let you get a word in, I promise, is that she didn't perform any Kiss Me Once songs on the Golden Tour. Not a one.
Yeah.
Not a one.
Exactly.
So Gareth and, Aidan and Christian, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Tim. It's been
You're
incredible.
welcome. This was great. This was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. Oh, God, it's been a good era. Bring on the next one.